What's up, world? Thanks for jumping in for another ride. Here a little while back, we got our hands on a 2024 Ford Bronco Badlands. Well, today we're in the shop and we got our hands on a 22 Ford Bronco Badlands. So we're excited to be doing a couple of aftermarket upgrades. So let's see what we got. So what we've got here is we picked up a DV8 Offroad overhead Molle panel for the 22 Ford Bronco, and this will actually fit 21 through 24s. So we're gonna get this thing unboxed, see what we got, and we'll go ahead and get it installed. So packaging is probably a little overkill on this thing, which I guess there's nothing wrong with that. So we'll start with the smallest package first because this whole packaging thing continues to the inside contents for whatever reason. So it's pretty well overkill. So let's see what we got. I'm just gonna see if I can not mess up any finishes here and be very careful cutting through this. So we have some sort of flat, appears to be mounting brackets. We have a box labeled hardware. So we'll just see what this hardware consists of real quick. All right, so basically it's just some M8 bolts, M6 washers. Okay, so basic hardware stuff. I have no clue what we have. Some pads with a sticky back for, but I'm assuming somewhere we're gonna find some instructions and figure that out. So next up, we have a couple of brackets. Actually really good quality, it's heavy metal. Definitely thick for sure. I don't know how much you can get that in the camera, but it's pretty solid. All right, so this is the second to the largest package. So we're gonna see what this consists of. And I'm assuming that this is actually our center mount for the Molle. I'll prop this up just so you can get a look at it. So that's that. It's got a like a DV8 logo down there. Looks like the plaque's just pop riveted onto it. Black powder coat on the front. It's a textured finish. So it's actually a really nice finish. So that's super cool. So I'm going to set this down off to the side so I can get the last package up here, which is going to be a fairly large package. All right, so this is our largest package here, and let's see what we got going with it. And here we go. So this, I'm not sure exactly how this is going to mount, but we're going to figure it out. So this thing's actually got a little weight to it. I don't have a way to expedite weighing it, but it's actually got some mass. It's pretty heavy duty. It's got really nice welds around each end, so it looks like it was probably MIG welded. They don't look small enough to be TIG, but definitely look like some good quality MIG welds. Backside, same thing where all the metal's been broke. Good solid welds. Definitely a heavy duty piece. So let's see if we can dig some instructions out and see what we can do to get this thing mounted up. We're just going to use a trim removal tool, and we're just going to open up those little clips, plastic piece that is up there, and that way we can reach that with a T20 Torx bit. Just going to go straight up in there. Should on paper come straight down. And number two. Each side of the center console, or actually the center overhead display here. And we're gonna pull it down like that, and it sounds like we just broke the whole thing. All right, so now let's figure out what bolt, and then just to give you a view up inside what you're gonna be working with, so you can see the nut, the two T50s, and that sits directly behind the main control of your overhead panel. So that way you can kind of see what's up inside there, what you're working with, and that is where our next bracket is going to mount up. Just for reference, I'm going to be using a 10mm ratcheting wrench, and obviously you can use just any regular boxed in or open in wrench for this, but if it ratchets, it will make it a little easier to reach up in there, and it actually comes loose fairly easy. And there is our nut. And the next thing is going to be to remove the two T50s that we spoke about earlier. Our T50. The nut is because there is this small alignment hole here. So this alignment hole is going to go up over that stud, and then it'll line up with our two T50s. So I don't know how much of this you can get with my fat Viking hands up there, but I'm going to try to line this up. After this bracket is installed, I'm just going to go ahead and put this back up in place. So I'm just going to go ahead and just reassemble this, and then we're going to move to the next step. And that's how that's going to rest. We're going to go ahead and get our Torx bits back up, mounting the visor holders. Make sure I have the right bit. And make sure I have the driver's side in place. Probably don't make a difference, but just to be safe. All right, so that's what that's going to like. Visor's back in place. I'm going to go ahead and put the passenger side back together, and then we're going to move on. Glad you got my back. And we're tight. T50s. And then the front one, we're going to just loosen it up. So I'm just going to go maybe a quarter of the way loose, something like that. We're going to leave it about right there and see what happens. Let me go over the driver's side and get that one loose. All right, so here is what we ended up with. So you can see there is a groove right there. And so we ended up putting this bracket on top to pinch that down and secure it. And then that bolt holds it from the side. So that's the bracket on the passenger side. I'm gonna swing over here. There is the one on the driver's side. You can see that we did go ahead and need to remove those two Torx, loosen up that one. And that is what we ended up with. I think that's going to be right. I'm not going to swear by anything at this point, but that's what we have. Now that we've swung our cross bracket into place, so you can see that Clayton just helped me pick it up, or actually he brought it over to me, and we got it over the top. And then I just set this side in, and I took the passenger side, swung it back towards the back of the Bronco, and then up under this bracket, and it fit right into place, and our slots line up rather well. So we're going to grab the hardware and see if we can get this somewhat mounted. Probably not going to bottom the bolts out yet. Just want to get them to, go ahead and get started. And then we'll try to get everything else lined up and figure that out before we go forward. But that's where we're at with the cross bracket. All right, so this is what we ended up with the 21 through 24 DV8 overhead Molle system on the Bronco. So you can see that's how we ended up with the brackets, and we just went ahead and put these on top, sandwiched them in, and it did come with spacers. We ended up not using the spacers, and we just used the M6 hardware, and we went ahead and went with the M6 hardware on the back side. And instead of bottoming these all the way out, we just left them loose, went ahead and put a couple of these in, and then did the ones all the way up to the front. And I got a tripod in my hand, so I just kind of swing up there so you can see it. So that's how that mounts up. And that's the back side of it. That's going to be the passenger side, so you can kind of get an idea there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this off, and so you can see that bottom side right there. And that is the pit crew. Everybody look out for Sophia Shreds. I don't know where Colin went. He's somewhere around the shop back here. There he is back there. Let's see. That's old Colin. So that is the DV8 Molle system for the Bronco. Thank you very much for watching. Do me a huge favor. Go ahead and hit thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. As always, jump in for another ride.